Hey, what's up?
Hello, everyone.
Usually we like banter back and forth, but we haven't done that. I just pressed start, so here we go.
Yeah.
So I'm a little afraid. I'm a little afraid of the first 5 minutes of this podcast.
We were bantering with Amia because
That's true.
She thinks she's a director.
Our producer.
Or something.
Director and everybody, yeah. So
check it out.
look at that. Peter and Paul.
Peter and Paul.
Yeah,
and keys.
You never know.
They're both holding keys. You see that?
Well, no, one of them has keys. The other, that is the hilt of a sword. St. Paul holds a sword. Peter holds keys.
Saul was the killer, though. Anyway,
Yeah.
Paul, that's
Saul,
not
Paul.
a sword. Those are keys.
I promise you that is the hilt of a sword. St. Paul is holding a sword.
Just let's check Tim's collection of swords, everyone.
I do have some old toy swords, but the symbol for St. Paul is a sword. That's what he's holding, and the symbol for St. Peter is a key. Because of, well, you'll hear about in the gospel this weekend.
Oh, pay attention.
Oh. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Pretty exciting stuff. Had a really good Bible study, this morning, talking about this upcoming Sunday's readings. And we talked less about Peter and Paul, actually, and more about our response to the love of God and what that looks like, because both these guys, very different, St. Paul and St. Peter, very different people. But the thing that united them was their love for the Lord. And yet their mission, while ultimately having the same goal, making disciples, bringing people, it was very different, so it's a good reminder for all of us. We're all kind of coming to heaven from different directions, but all through Jesus, We talked a little bit today as well about kind of like what God's mission is for each of us. So that's just something I encourage you to pray with, that the mission of God is for you to kind of hear God look at you and say, that one belongs to me and I love them. And we say, yes, I do belong to you and I love you back. That's kind of the ultimate. That's like it all sort of comes together. So it's a really good Bible study. Encourage you to come on Wednesday morning if you can. And yeah, it was awesome. So I just love this picture, though. The reason that I picked this picture is because it's so awkward looking. Like, that's why. I mean, people are like, what was so, like Annie asked me today, what was so cool about it? I said, I just love how human they both look. Like, they look like they were just like having a conversation. And the artist was like, hey, Peter and Paul, look at me. And they're both like, what? But that's the thing I think too. Like, when you look at Peter and you look at Paul, they're just two guys, or you go and like you look at different characters in the Bible, Mary Magdalene, Veronica, whoever, to name some ladies, like, they're just people. I think it's
Aren't we all?
Yeah, right. But that's the point, That's what's so cool. It's like, so if God can do what he did with Peter, think what he can do with you. Pretty cool. Pretty exciting. Yeah, page 2.
It's like the second
Call
and third
us.
pages are not that exciting.
Just like,
if you need to get in contact with us, if you want to find out what the
Yeah.
church's money's like, or if you want to know
Yeah.
for mass intentions for somebody, read pages 2
read
and 3.
pages 2 and 3. Yep, there it is. Okay. There are a couple of formatting differences. We had to kind of squish some of the pages together to, fit into certain, whatever you call it, parameters. I don't know what's the word. I don't know. Anyway, so if it looks a little different, that's why. Our first Eucharistic Summer Adoration thing is coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be Monday, the 30th, the last Monday of the month, and it will be every last Monday of the month. So yeah, I was talking to Erica this morning. We'll do our best. By the third one, we'll be good. Hopefully by the first one, but yeah, so we're gonna do it together. The music part, Father Ross will be, leading the prayers and that sort of thing. I'm really excited, actually. The most thing I'm excited about for this specific event is benediction, because we have the divine praises it'll be like English then Spanish, like
Cool.
Call and response. Like, it's gonna. I'm really like excited to hear what that sounds like. So anyway, I'm pumped. I love the divine praises. It's one of my favorite prayers. Yeah. Do you have a favorite? Like a favorite prayer?
None of the rote prayers, actually.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
What people talk about a lot is how they don't know how to pray.
Mm-hmm.
I hear it more often than not. And you'd think we were teaching our young people how to just sit and have a conversation when we say, what's it like? You just pretend like you're calling Jesus up on the phone and have a conversation
Right.
with him. So I guess, no, I don't have a specific prayer, just being able to pray and knowing that prayers are heard and answered in the time when they're needed to be. So
Sure. Yeah. I'm just jumping ahead of the next page, but we'll get there. Is there anything else? Everything else is pretty much the same next week. The 4th of July, we're closed.
Yancey.
On Friday, as always. But
we have a new family for the month of July that's sponsoring her, and her birthday is coming up in July, so you'll see a shout out for that. So.
Yeah, the Rash family is sponsoring her this month, so thank you to them. If you don't know the Rashes, you're missing out. They're pretty wonderful.
They are pretty wonderful.
They're awesome. I was really impressed with them, actually, a couple of weeks ago. The kids came in, and there was no altar server at 10:30. And Mass has already begun. We could have just they could have just let it go.
Right.
And they came in, they were like, do you want us to go up there? And I said, are you willing to go up there? And they were like, yeah. I'm like, okay, then go. So they went up, and it was during, as the first reading began, the Rashes came out. And what was so interesting was after Mass, a couple people came up to me to complain
that
because they were late.
Oh.
And I said, no, they were not late. A different altar server was late. Those two volunteered to go up there to serve the Mass. And it was kind of fun to watch the realization of, I'm not being very charitable. And I was like, yeah, what's up?
What you don't know, you don't know.
Exactly.
So if you don't know something,
So
don't always feel that you can judge.
Exactly. But shout out to the Rashes. They're awesome. So thank you so much for sponsoring Yancey. You can. We're pretty much good for this year. But as time goes on, if you have it on your heart, you want to give something for Yancey, you're welcome to do that. Yeah, very cool.
Very cool.
We had
a baptism.
We had a baptism. It was adorable. Max, he was just like, he was great. He was so alert. Some babies just kind of like, they sleep, then you pour the water on them, they wake up a little bit. But he was just everywhere. It was awesome.
So he knew everything that was going on, right?
He was fully aware.
Very good.
We probably could have just confirmed him at the time. He was ready. I'm just kidding. No, that's not how it works. But yeah. But I already asked Sarah what her favorite was. But that's what Uno's tip of the week is about. It's the point of this is it's okay to have favorites, given that to properly get a favorite, you have to try more than one thing. So
Sure.
if you have a favorite prayer, I love to do the personal prayer like Sarah was talking about, but I love the closing prayer of the Divine Mercy Chaplet. Like that's one of my favorite prayers of all time. But Jesus, I trust in you. That's my go-to. I love that one.
Sure.
It's like,
amen.
Especially in the stressful moments where it's like, I have 2 seconds to offer you, Lord, a really complicated situation. So, Jesus, I trust in you.
Amen, right? The shortest prayer in the book. Amen.
Amen.
I do believe. Yes.
Absolutely. Alleluia.
You had a couple of questions on here. Your favorite saint, your favorite book in the Bible. And as I get to read about all different kinds of saints doing the children's bulletin or with the confirmation students when they were picking all the different saints, I still always circle back to mine that I chose as my confirmation name of Bernadette. So she just comes back to me in her simple faith. And Mary showing up to her. So
yeah, I was thinking about mine today because angels came up a lot in the Bible study this morning because the psalm is about angels and of course Peter is rescued by an angel. If you go to Mass on Sunday, you'll hear those readings. And
apparently we have a time limit or something.
Our studio producers making, you're doing an angel thing. Got it. I'm like, what is she doing over there? Anyway,
she's part of the angel crowd.
You got to be here to see all this. Anyway, but no, yeah. So Saint Michael was mine. Saint Michael the Archangel. So I was like, oh yeah. But yeah, no. The thing is so it just kind of goes to show if you have a favorite Bible verse or you have a favorite book of the Bible or a favorite Bible story, it kind of. The hope is, you've read a bunch of Bible stories and you have a favorite, or you pray a bunch of prayers and you have a favorite. You've gotten to know a bunch of saints and there's one or two that really stick out to you. And it's funny, I don't know why, but I mean St. Augustine always has, but St. Philip Neri, it's interesting. Like, and it's funny how like I was very young when he jumped out at me.
Okay.
But what's funny is as I've gotten older and the twists and turns that life has taken, like he's very relatable. Like he wanted to be something specific for the Lord, and God had him go and do something that he did not see coming.
Sure.
And here I am, working the front desk at a church. Like who would have thought?
Would have thought.
Not anyone who knew me or myself. So it's good. But yeah, no, so it's okay. So ask the question, do you have a favorite? And then we put it in last week. But the Bethany Retreat Center, they offer some great stuff. So
yeah, different retreats coming up this summer. So you'll see something in there about all the different ones that are coming up.
And we talked about school enrollment being open. Mrs. Morphy asked us to keep that in there for a couple of weeks. So there it is. If you're interested in Catholic education, we strongly recommend St. Jude School. We like it. Our producer, Amia, she goes there, just graduated first grade. So that's pretty cool.
And
and
letting her
then
go on.
on the other side of the world,
Other side of Erie, at least.
it feels, way out there. At Our Lady of Mercy, they're going to be having their Ole Mercy Fest. I don't know if they meant for it to sound like that, but I'm like, all right, out there on the east side.
Yeah.
Ole Mercy Fest.
Oh, it's past the east side. Like
They're out there.
They're, almost to
I love Our
northeast,
Lady of Mercy.
yeah.
They're wonderful. Yeah, so you can check that out. It looks like a fun event. Absolutely. And we just want to thank, what's that about? Oh, there it is.
The Erie Hot Rod and Legends car cruising that they had here last weekend. They raised $616 for St. Jude Cares. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
It goes to, help people get food with different things that come up in people's lives that we can help them with. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, fun.
So, drum roll on to the Children's Bulletin.
So as we were pointing out, the covers kind of look alike with St. Peter's and Paul on the front.
Your picture is better. It's actually
you can color it.
It's a better picture of Peter and Paul.
Well,
than
because they're
the
smiling.
painting. They're happy.
They're smiling, or at least that. But there are keys, because they are they are important actually. So in one of my readings, they open locked doors, they turn on cars, they protect your things. So, but imagine how surprised Peter was when he was given the keys to the kingdom by Jesus. And I did spell Jesus wrong on one of the lines, so I apologize for my typo, but know that it is still Jesus. And, that gave Peter the keys to the kingdom, and upon this church I will build, upon this rock I will build my church. So, fun things like that. Come follow me, how all of our wonderful apostles were called. The saint this month or this week is Saint Junipero Serra, 18th century Franciscan priest who was passionate, charitable, missionary work, laid the foundation for Spanish colonization. It's now actually in California. So Father Serra met the first native people and shared the gospel. So again, just sharing, living your life in a way that shows Jesus can do wonders.
Absolutely.
And then we're celebrating not just with my work, not just my work colleagues am I celebrating birthdays, but we're celebrating with the Nomies the 4th of July next week. So
yeah,
I have some of my favorite kind of characters in the bulletin of our gnomes. So
that's fun.
Yeah,
your Nomies.
I love it.
I
Celebrating my Nomies.
Just so that we can end in the first place that we kind of where we began a little bit there. I looked it up. St. Paul is depicted usually holding a sword and a book, and the sword represents the sword of the Spirit, because St. Paul was kind of
slain in the Spirit.
He's kind of out there doing his thing. The other thing, the book being shown, just how much like all of his writings, like that kind of stuff.
Sure, he did write a lot.
Most of the New Testament. Most of the New Testament is written by this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, you can pray with that. Something fun that I remember being really little, and I've never stopped thinking about this, and I don't know what it would be. I don't know, because oftentimes, I hope I don't know, because oftentimes saints are depicted holding often the implementation of their death, like if they're martyred or something. But it's interesting though, because I remember when I was younger, I was at a vacation Bible school, and the priest in we had mass every day at this VBS, and in the homily, it was like the second or third day, we were talking about different saints, and the priest asked, "What do you think your statue would be holding if you were a saint?"
Oh boy.
And oh my gosh, like the stuff was great. You
Yeah.
know what? Because of course we all were answering him. I have no idea what I said. I don't remember.
No.
But that question has always stuck with me. It's like I wonder. So there you go. You can walk away with that. What would you be holding? You know, it's kind of fun. And just to think about, because I think we're all called to be saints. That's something I think I forget about on the regular. Is it's like, yeah, like there. I love to say this at confirmation retreats, especially, but like just reminding like kids, but remind everybody. You know, like if you follow the Lord and you allow Jesus to move in and through you, and your charity, and just like you embody these virtues and all this kind of stuff, you know. It's not crazy to think you could be a saint. Everyone in heaven is a saint, but like you could be a saint on earth. You know, I mean, look at Carlo, blessed Carlo Acutis. He's about to be canonized here in a few
few
weeks
in August.
Yeah,
with somebody else. Is it Pierre?
Yeah, Pier Giorgio. Finally, that guy.
I thought it took a long time.
That one took longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's incredible. You know, when you stop and you think about it, and it's like, wow, like these are just people that the Lord called and they responded yes. I've heard it said that the difference between a saint and a sinner is the saint got up and tried again one more time.
So I think next to my statue or me holding will be an ice cream cone. Because as a diabetic, I shouldn't be eating ice cream like in that way, but I love ice cream.
The joy of the Lord is your strength.
Right?
Absolutely.
No, I had to learn how to
that's fun.
Find some dairy-free and some sugar-free ice cream, so I might as well just eat a container of ice. But
yeah,
still,
like I said, I love mentioning it to like the youth because it's kind of fun to watch their
brain
minds
swirl.
spin a little bit, because I'll say something like, "Hey, like if you do this, like in 200 years, or 100 years, or however long, people would be coming to, and if it's at St. Jude's, let's say St. Jude's or a different church, but I'd be like, people will be coming to St. Jude's in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is not just St. Jude Church anymore. Now it is St. Jude the Apostle Church, shrine to Saint your name. And then over on the corner where there's like the St. Jude statue, there's a statue of you or a picture of you. And it's like, and to watch the look of like, no, and it's like, yes, I'm not. That's not the goal of a saint. Oh, I'm gonna be like for fame or something. But it is interesting to be like, could God use me that way?
Sure.
And the answer is yes, He could, and He wants to. So, anyway, something to pray with. But ask St. Peter and Paul for their intercession this weekend. And just a quick explanation. Father Ross loves to point this out whenever we have Bible study on Wednesdays. The difference between a solemnity and a normal, Sunday Mass. On Saturday, we have what's called a Mass of Anticipation, which is after 4 o'clock, so it's during the Sunday Sabbath, if you will. But a solemnity has what's called a Vigil Mass, and that has a different set of readings. So if you go to Mass on Saturday, odds are you're going to hear a different set of readings than what's on Sunday. Correct. So be sure to check that out. It's kind of fun. Anyway, if you have any other questions, thoughts, or need prayers, don't hesitate to give us a call.
Keep the priest in your prayers. If you're watching this during Emmaus week,
yes.
They have just a few more hours here for the priest, and then the deacons start their retreat. Yeah. But keep them all in your prayers as they, spend time with the Lord and the brotherhood. So
absolutely, and so they can come back to us ready to rock and roll. So,
yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
See you next time. See you Sunday.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you in church.